Hey guys, here's the first part to my new series, which is what if the heroes and villains in Dragon Ball switch places. So the way this is gonna work is basically the main villains in the story become good guys and the main heroes become bad guys. So let's see how the story of Dragon Ball evolves due to this development. So we cut to the beginning of Goku's life. We see a Saiyan child who was born with a particularly low power level, but an evil aura emanating through this boy. And this boy, as we know, is Kakarot. So meanwhile, in this Saiyan society now, the Saiyans are actually good guys, and so is Frieza. So there's no need for Frieza to have destroyed the Saiyans by any chance. And instead, the Frieza Empire is one that spreads prosperity and peace throughout the universe. While the Saiyans are his main workforce and soldiers that help him with this quest. The king of planet Vegeta, King Vegeta, is a really noble man and is known for his good deeds throughout the galaxy and throughout the cosmos, actually. And on top of this, almost every Saiyan is upright in nature and fights for fun and to protect justice and peace. So this child being born with this evil energy, no one was able to sense energy in planet Vegeta and no one could put a finger on it. But there was something about this child that was particularly unsettling, but they tried to ignore it. As this child Kakarot grew up, he expressed more violent tendencies and did more and more evil things as he grew older. His family, hoping this was just a phase, tried to ignore it, but eventually it all came to a head as this boy Kakarot, in a fit of anger, killed another Saiyan child. As no one could ignore this anymore, as they realized that this boy had become a problem. So now they had to find a way to deal with it. So one option was killing the child, as Guinea and Bardock, after they found out what their son had done, realized that for sure he was gonna be imprisoned for the rest of his life, or at least killed, as Goku had been known by everyone as one with an evil heart. But Guinea, out of love for her child, hoped that he would maybe find a way to go on the right path, as she then decided to send her son Goku off to a planet with a relatively low power level, so that hopefully, even if he never becomes a good person, he should never become a threat to anyone, and he would hopefully live his life there as basically live peacefully. So as she says goodbye to her son, Goku, since he's older in this scenario compared to when he was first sent to Earth, he remembers this exact memory, as his mom tearfully says goodbye to him, as he then says, "Mom, I know you're letting me go, but I will get revenge on everyone here for trying to kill me." As Guinea then says, "But don't you realize why they killed you? I mean, why they wanted to kill you?" As Goku then says, "I don't care. I will not stop until I achieve my goal, which is to become the most feared and most powerful person in existence." As Guinea then says, "My boy, I hope that you grow and mature from this state, and you remember that we love you." As Goku says, "I care not for love, as power is all I'll ever need." As Goku then gets sent all the way to planet Earth. So, basically what happens now is Goku lands on planet Earth, and as remember, the heroes and villains have switched places in this scenario. So in this world, let's cut back to Earth as we go back a few hundred years, as this nameless Namekian splits into his two halves, which is Kami and Piccolo. In this scenario, Kami is actually the evil half. So, Kami wants world domination, basically, as he then says, "My name is Demon King Kami." As now, with the help So basically, Kami manages to defeat Piccolo as the original, and he takes over the world with this power. As Piccolo, who was actually the good half, gets sealed away. So now, what happens now is the Dragon Balls are basically kept with Kami for safekeeping, as Kami makes sure that no one can take this power away from him. So, we now, this world is basically ruled by Kami, and the Red Ribbon Army is an army that has been created by a few people to try and to try and stop Kami, and to try and take back control of planet Earth. So now we go back to Goku as he's landed on the mountain. As now we see an old man collect him, whose name was Gohan. Gohan in this scenario is not the kind-hearted old man that we know from the beginning. He's quite short-tempered and does not allow for weakness. So, as he then sees this boy, Goku, being not very strong and landing out of the basically coming out of this the space pod, Gohan then says, "You seem stronger than a normal human, but I'm not sure that you're worth me taking up." As Goku now, who's slightly older and has lived in a sane society, is much more powerful than usual, as he just looks at Gohan and says, "And who says I need your help?" As Goku then launches and lands a hit on Gohan, damaging Gohan considerably, for which Gohan uses his martial arts and manages to keep up with the Saiyan child who has not been trained in the martial arts methods. And basically, Goku is impressed by this and says, "What's your name, old man?" And the old man then says, "Gohan." And Gohan then says, "You have promise, so I'll take you up and I'll teach you my ways." As Goku then says, "Alright, that sounds okay." So Goku then, for the next 3 years, is trained on martial arts by Gohan, as Gohan is more violent and doesn't have the morals he did in the original. So Goku is raised to be more wicked and savage than he originally was, just with martial arts on top. And then Gohan then says, "I've trained you all I can teach you." As Gohan then tells Goku to leave, as Gohan does not want to be disturbed by Goku any longer. But Goku then says, "Thank you, old man," as he then launches a blast through Gohan's chest, killing him. As Gohan then says, "Goku, how could you?" As Goku then says, "We're both evil, old man, but I just know how to act out my evil more." As then after Gohan's death, Goku then sets off in search of adventure. So basically, he meets Bulma in this situation, since he did come to Earth later and he stayed with Gohan for a few more years. So let's just say it's around the time now that Goku meets Bulma. So when Goku's about 12 years old. Bulma in this situation is also evil, and she plans to use the Dragon Balls to wish for basically unlimited materials for her evil organization known as Capsule Corp. As now basically what happens is Goku meets Bulma, and Bulma tells Goku about these Dragon Balls, to which Goku then says, "I'll tag along with you and see how Goku then says he'll tag along and acts oblivious, but Goku plans to steal the Dragon Balls at the last minute, to which Bulma, thinking that she just got a strong fighter to help her, then agrees, to which then they then set out to find the Dragon Balls. This eventual search of the Dragon Balls then leads to them needing to battle against the Pilaf gang. So the first time that Goku meets the Pilaf gang, he beats them, he almost actually kills them, but they barely escape with their lives. To which they unseal Piccolo earlier than usual. To which Piccolo in this scenario is actually a pretty good guy, who then says, my goodness, I've been sealed away for the last 200 years. Only goodness knows what Kami has been doing throughout this time. As Kami has become the leader of this planet and basically used human power to maintain himself. Since Kami is not as strong as Piccolo, but he used the power of other humans to basically keep himself in power. So Goku then, in this scenario, then has to meet Piccolo basically, as the Pilaf gang then comes with Piccolo to try and stop Goku. As the Pilaf gang is good and they don't want Goku misusing the Dragon Balls, as the Pilaf gang with Piccolo hope to wish for the Earth to be back in a point of peace. So what happens now is Goku and Piccolo enter a battle, but since this is before Goku trained with Roshi and all that, Goku loses this battle, and then Piccolo takes the Dragon Balls from Goku and then wishes for the world to be peaceful. So because Piccolo knows that he is better off suited ruling the planet, he then says he wishes that the world was structured in the way he wanted to be. As the world then changes, as Kami is no longer the leader of the planet, and the main forces of evil that Kami had are no longer with him, as Kami is then locked up in a prison. Meanwhile, his fighters are scattered around the world. As basically Piccolo then says, I'll make sure this never happens again. As Piccolo then sets off to become the watcher of this planet, while leaving Pilaf as a king. Goku, angered by this as he wants to take over this planet, is annoyed by the fact that there's still people stronger than him, as he realizes that he's going to have to do some more training, as he then sets off to find Gohan's master named Roshi. This search then takes him to Roshi, an old man who is very wicked and helped Kami become the leader of the planet. Roshi had trained his dark martial arts for the last 100 years, just to raise his superiority and to terrorize the beings of the planet. As he then looks at Goku and says, I can sense a dark aura from you. From now on, I will be your master. As Goku then says, that's no problem. I would not mind being trained by you. As Goku and Roshi then train together for the next 2 years, to which Goku learns this Kamehameha wave, and on top of this, he learns how to basically to do anything he can to win. He no longer fights with principle, but he's willing to go through any strategy to get a victory. And on top of that, he does not hold back on his opponents, and he does not spare them. As soon as an opponent loses to him, they are to be crushed. As Goku then finishes his training with Roshi, as Roshi then says, "You have done good, boy. Now remember what I've taught you." As Goku then sets off, basically, he does not kill Roshi, as he thinks that Roshi might be useful in the future for his eventual takeover of the planet. And on top of this, now, he then sets off towards where Kami was locked up, as he then frees Kami and tells him to train him. As Kami then, realizing that Kami knows he does not have the power to beat Piccolo, so for the next 1 year, he trains Goku day and night to become as powerful as possible, to which Goku is then ready to fight against Piccolo. As Goku then looks at Piccolo and says, "Piccolo, I am no longer the weak child you knew before. I am now a force of destruction, and I will take over this planet and rule it in my own image." As Goku then fights against Piccolo, this fight going completely differently to the original, as Piccolo still does not want to kill Goku per se, as Goku is still a child, but Goku goes for the kill, as he then launches a blast through Piccolo, leaving him on the ground to die. As Piccolo then shoots off an egg and says, you child will bring light towards this planet. As Piccolo then dies. So Goku then sets off and takes over the rest of planet Earth, while Piccolo Jr. trains in the shadows to stop Goku and his evil ways. So Goku now is a very ruthless ruler, as he basically imprisons Kami so that Kami cannot do anything, while at the same time using the Dragon Balls to basically make his empire as strong as possible. As Goku realizes that he needs to get stronger and stronger, as he basically finds out that Kami had a lookout and there's a hyperbolic time chamber, as he then sets out to find it. He then manages to locate this time chamber up in the sky, but it's guarded by this man named Popo. As Popo then tries to stop Goku from reaching this time chamber, to which Goku swiftly gets fed up of Popo and is about to kill him, to which Popo then says, "Sorry, I surrender, please let me serve you." As Goku then basically makes Popo his servant. So now Goku enters the time chamber to begin his training as the new ruler of this planet. While, on the other hand, now a space pod is traveling towards planet Earth, which holds the only other evil Saiyan that has been known in this generation, King Vegeta's second son, Turbo, as he has set out to planet Earth to coordinate with Kakarot. So this is where I'll leave in this part, and I hope you enjoyed. So the next part will be coming out. It might take a bit of time since I'm in a quarantine situation and with other people, so that might be a bit of a trick, but I'll try to drop it as soon as I can.